Italy elects a right-wing government. Florida orders a state of emergency for the hurricane. And there's a crocodile.
What? All this on Ostee, but that was, the intro's got to be a little more tight. It used to be so tight.
I know, but we're all over the place with the stories. I don't know which ones were.
I know we needed to kind of line them up, and I'm surprised you didn't talk about this Oakville teacher here with the massive prosthetic breasts.
Yeah, but we're doing old news here. This should be called the old news program.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That is true. That is true. But tighten up on the intro. Last time you're like, "Hey, we got this and we got that." You're the news guy.
I know. I gotta up my production value here. But yeah, this teacher in Oakville who transitioned last year. So just to be clear, she was a man before, and now she identifies as a woman. And she hasn't had, from what I know, any surgery, but for now she's sort of just dressing up as a woman, and she's chosen to wear these prosthetic breasts, which are the size of beach balls, and
no, they're huge. I'd say like they're big watermelons, not even
big watermelons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she also, the worst part is she's got big nipples on the end of them. I don't know how she attached them, but she attached these points and put big nipples on the end of them.
It almost looks like it's a scarf that goes around her neck, and it's got these big things. Because I don't know how, what that is. That it looks like those movies you used to watch, with Eddie Murphy and whatever, dressed up as a woman, and they have these big tits. It looks like that almost.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know why she puts the nipples on the end of them though.
I think it's like this person just wants to see how far it can. It almost looks like a joke.
It does. You know what? What if this guy is trolling the left? Or if this woman, I should say, is trolling. I don't know.
Well, dude, look at how many protests. I don't know if you see, but there's protests outside of the school.
Really?
And apparently the education board, the teachers, they're not they're staying with this guy. And what's interesting is their dress codes must prevent students from wearing clothing that exposes or makes visible genitals and nipples for students. But it isn't the case when it comes to this person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these protests here. They say inclusivity is no excuse for depravity. Basic values gone too far. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy, crazy story, right?
Yeah.
You want to be inclusive. You don't want to, but see, I think this person is sort of pushing it here because it's like, where do you draw the line?
But I think it's it just makes the argument on the other side look better. Like saying what the hell are we doing here? This, if you guys are pushing it this far, then it really discredits whatever movement, that's pushing this agenda. Because it made it on Tucker Carlson. Imagine that. Tucker Carlson's talking about schools in Canada now and about Oakville. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but the person's wearing a mask and the pandemic's over. So I don't even know if this is
Yeah, still wearing a mask. I don't know. I wonder if that's the school's
satire
rule, though. Know. Yeah, the headline from the Daily Mail. Is Canadian high school says it's illegal to criticize trans teacher with huge breasts, as it claimed disturbed students and are skipping classes, and school board is refusing to address parents' concern. The school board said it would be against the Ontario Human Rights Code to criticize the teacher.
Not just that, but if you misgender the person, you can end up with a huge fine and potentially go to jail.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
One of the students said, I'm okay with it. I know some of my friends are a little uncomfortable with it, but I think she should be able to express herself however she wants to. Well, you know what? What if it was the other way around? What if it was a female teacher who was transgender and was dressing as a man, and they put a giant cucumber in their pants?
That's so true.
Would that be okay?
Yeah. I think only a man's brain could think of that. Something like that, you know? Women don't do that shit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching this teacher use this miter saw in this video here,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even look like they know how to use the miter saw.
I don't know what class she's teaching. Isn't that a hazard to have?
It's like a shop class. She's teaching the shop class, and it looks like she's never seen a miter saw with a slide on it. It's like,
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, and it looks like he's about to like pop one of. She's about to pop one of these big melons.
That's what somebody should go up to them and just pop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as a joke, just with a pencil, like pop. But what if it actually like she starts bleeding? She's like, "Ow!" and it's real.
It's real. Yeah. Well, then shame on all of us. Okay, what about the elections in Italy? What do we got on that?
So basically, Italy just elected the first female prime minister, and this is a big deal. I mean, wait, is it prime minister or president? Let me see. Right wing alliance led by yada yada yada. But anyways,
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. Yeah, it's Prime Minister. So this is a big deal because, first of all, it's the first female prime minister in Italy, which is, pretty crazy. But it's not what people would think, it would actually be, which is a, left wing or whatever. Like, we need more women's rights. It's actually the opposite. They're calling her far right. And it seems like she's said some things about Mussolini in the past, praising him or whatever. And they're kind of putting that on her to say that she's far right because she likes Mussolini.
Yeah, I think it's not just that. I think that she's definitely right wing, but she also has some opinions on immigration that are different. With these countries being a part of the EU, they've had to take in a lot of immigrants, and a lot of people in Europe are against it. And it's part of the reason why Brexit happened. They say it's because of tax purposes, but a lot of it was because of imports and all import-export, but a lot of it was because of immigration. And this happened in Sweden too.
Well, Brexit was, in my opinion, was more because they didn't want to, rely on the European dollar or whatever. They wanted their own, currency and economy. I don't know about a currency, but I feel like they were getting dragged down by the European economy.
Yeah, but they also wanted to have agency over their own decisions.
Yes.
They weren't even allowed to decide how many immigrants were going to be let into their country.
Yeah.
But Vox has an article about this, and they say the far right is having a moment in Europe. Actually, everywhere. Giorgia Meloni and her far-right Fratelli d'Italia are expected to lead a far-right victory in Italian elections this weekend. That win, if it happens, would come shortly after the far-right Sweden Democrats.
How many far rights do you think they could actually?
They're going to fit 12 far rights into this paragraph.
Far right.
Won the second largest share of the vote, helping to oust the center-left from power and giving the far right a potential role in the next government. These shifts are happening as Europe enters another precarious moment, a war on the continent that is increasingly unpredictable, and an inflation and energy crisis that will deepen as winter approaches. Yeah, so they're pretty much saying that this is happening all over Europe.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame them when you have policies that destroy their feeling of a nation? Obviously, they're going to flock to the other side.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but it's like you said, immigration. She really wanted to. Apparently, the party only had 4% like a couple years back in 2019 or something when they did the referendum. It was just a small little party, but now it was like the majority voted for this party, and it seems like Italians are pissed. They just want to, they want to get back their rights, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they're trying to combat Islamic leftism, is what they say. So.
Yeah, it says here that they did an interview with this woman to see why this is happening, and they mentioned the wave of refugees in 2015 that Europe took in. And they say that migration plays a crucial role. Perhaps migration is a huge issue, but I really think the core ideology is nativism. Yeah, so I think some of these countries are worried that their culture is, they're losing their culture to these waves of immigration, and I don't know. I don't know if that's the main reason or if that's true, but that seems to be
and also people not assimilating into their culture, you know?
Right. Well, they can't do that quick. Immigrants always assimilate, you know. But if they come, I guess, too quickly, then it doesn't happen fast enough.
Yeah, but sometimes, like, you know, they'll just make their own neighborhoods, and
Right.
those neighborhoods will be like what it was back home, you know, the
Right.
same standards and same, you know.
Right. But I wonder if that really is the issue, or if you know, Vox is just reporting this so that they can then say that it's because they're racist. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, if you look at the trend of like just, you know, Europe and the UN, it seems like it's like you said, it's like the Brexit thing. They want to have sovereignty over their own nation,
Right.
and you know, when big global groups like the WEF and the UN start coming in partnership for these big agendas, it's like, how about we just have our own, you know, far right leader decide for us what we want to do.
Right.
They'd rather have that individual than a bunch of, you know, people at a chair at their like little meetings and desks that you're not invited to, you know.
Exactly.
At least they have the feeling like they voted for that person.
Exactly. And with big organizations like the EU and stuff, they have these giant summits and these meetings.
Yeah.
And they say, well, we're going to send this many people to this country, and this country is going to start exporting this thing. And then, so, you know, it would make sense that these nativist candidates in these countries that are like, screw them, we're going to do this, and I'm going to make the decisions for us, and we're going to decide for ourselves. Like, it makes sense that that's a popular argument, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, would you rather have this like far right leader or Klaus Schwab running your country, you know? So
Right.
the evil guy, you know? So, I
Right.
mean, I think I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, we don't know too much about her and her history, even if, you know, was she a Mussolini supporter? I don't know. But she's a first woman president, prime minister, which seems to be a good argument, you know. Like, guys, you got what you wanted, you know. I'm sorry she's not like the ideology that you wanted her to have, but you got something, you know, at least.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. Anyways, we got more stories, though.
Yeah, we got more. So we got Costco news.
Costco news.
So I went to
baby.
Costco today, and no more water bottles there, and that is because there's a hurricane that's coming to Florida, Hurricane Ian.
Was there actually no water?
There's no water left. Nope.
Would you usually buy bottled water?
I have some in the house, always just in case.
You know, it's all good. And I'm not the guy to lecture you on this because whenever you came to my house, you had water bottle. You'd always have. But apparently, there's microplastics and.
Yeah, of course there's microplastics.
No, but and then they shrink your genitals. That's apparently what they do.
I didn't know that they shrunk your genitals, but
Yeah.
yeah. Well, what happens is that these water bottles, you think about it from a shipping perspective, they're not put in refrigerated containers. They're put in dry box trucks, and these trucks, they sit outside in the sun for long periods of time. And so these water bottles, they get left in these trucks with no ventilation at 95 degrees. What do you think happens to those plastic water bottles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they're full of microplastics. But I have some always in the house just in case, especially living in a place like Florida, just in case this happens. Think about it. If there's a hurricane that comes and there's 3 feet of water on the ground and the sewer system backs up and there's no more running water, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why everybody sort of panics. But the governor is calling this a major hurricane, which it's looking like it's going to be. Right now, Hurricane Ian is...
DeSantis is saying this?
Yeah, DeSantis called it a major hurricane.
It seems like the first time he's not picking on the left. The crisis isn't the left.
Well, apparently he's putting the hurricane on a bus and he's sending it to D.C.
He's giving them the whole fucking
The whole hurricane.
the hurricane to deal with.
Yeah, but right now it looks like
we
Jamaica
accept hurricanes just the way they are, no matter what country they start from. Not over here.
Yeah, we don't want. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, DeSantis, hey, he's finally dealing with some real issues,
Right.
not the far left.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
and he's gonna have to step up his role as governor. So Hurricane Ian right now,
Yeah.
it's in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of Jamaica, but it looks like it's gonna skip over Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic. They're all
Wow.
gonna be spared from it.
Dude, it's like everyone in Florida dies, and DeSantis is still like, we gotta close down Disney World. we gotta stop with this far left agenda.
All right. Any more DeSantis jokes?
Yeah, no, it's just funny. I've never heard DeSantis dealing with anything other than attacking the left.
So it's a category 4 right now, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's out of 5. So category 4 is a pretty major hurricane, but it's expected to make landfall as a category 3. Category 3 is still pretty big. So they've issued evacuation order. It's supposed to hit in the Tampa area, so it's going to hit the west coast of Florida. So it looks like I'm going to be spared from it in Miami. We'll probably get some pretty heavy rain and that sort of thing, which we're already getting because it's the rainy season, but it'll probably get pretty nasty. But yeah, they say the hurricane has reached 100 miles per hour winds. 5 p.m. on Monday, as Cuba braced for landfall, the Florida Keys started to experience rainfall from Ian's most outer bands. So we got a lot of rain today. I don't know if that's Ian or if that's related, but they're saying that winds are gonna reach 120 miles per hour from a category 4 to category 2 as it heads to cross western Florida. 300,000 people have been affected by evacuation orders. So my family just got a place in Sarasota, so that whole area was evacuated.
So your uncle, your stepdad had to leave?
Well, he's not there right now, but if he did, that whole area has been evacuated, so he would have had to leave. Yeah, I have a friend of mine who lives in Sarasota, and he asked me if he could come stay with me, so I told him he could. So this is a really big hurricane, DeSantis said on Monday, noting that Ian currently stretches 500 miles wide and is currently expanding through the entire state. He predicted heavy flooding and said additional medical personnel, ambulances, generators, and water pumps have been deployed to Tampa, which is bracing for a surge of up to 8 feet in ocean water and between 10 and 15 inches of rain, which could be disastrous for coastal communities. So just imagine that, 8-foot storm surge, 10 to 15 inches of rain. DeSantis said 5,000 National Guard members have been activated along with 2,000 additional troops from nearby states, including Georgia and Tennessee. Search and rescue teams are also being marshaled across the state. So this is going to definitely kill a lot of people.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Just when you ever have like an event like this, flooding, heat waves kill people. So, he says there's no need to panic buy. Nothing that states officials are coordinating with major retailers to ensure stock remains plentiful.
So you think Florida might be underwater in the end?
No, this is nothing new for Floridians to have hurricanes like this. This happens all the time, and there's been a lot worse hurricanes than this one. We've had hurricanes that are category 4s and 5s. This is supposed to be category 3, but still going to be pretty violent. But yeah, so that's what they're saying. I remember, though, I had a teacher that gave this class, and so whenever you have hurricanes like this, it's illegal in the state of Florida to price gouge, meaning they're not allowed to charge you like $20 for a case of water. Mm-hmm. It's against the law. It's very illegal. But this teacher was saying that you should price gouge, like that should be legal, because really all that is the market adjusting. And think about it. If retailers knew that they could sell water for $20 a case, imagine how much water they would send down here. Mm-hmm. And if water did cost $20 a case, you wouldn't have idiots throwing 10 cases in their carts, because that's always what happens. People go stock up, they buy 12 cases, and then guys like me show up and there's no more water left,
That's true. That's really true.
So if there was $20 a case, everybody would probably just buy one, maybe two, and there'd probably be enough for everybody. And big corporations would be like, holy fuck, guys, if we send a truck down full of water, we could make $100,000. And next thing you know, they'd be sending tons of trucks down here.
What if you can't afford the water?
Well, that's where that becomes the problem, right? Some people wouldn't be able to afford the water. But, hopefully people will be able to scrape up $20 to buy some water if their life depended on it. Anyway, $20 is just the price that I'm throwing at this. But the point is that, like, think about a retailer like Walmart or Costco or something like that. Right now, they have no more water on their shelves. Let's say they're scheduled to get a delivery of water every Monday. And Monday, it's sold all in a day. Now they have no water for the rest of the week. What is their incentive to try to get some truck to come down and send them more supplies? And it's going to be a huge headache. It's going to be really expensive. And the water's not selling for any more than it usually is, Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's just a quick point about price gouging. But yeah, so we'll brace for that. It's expected to make landfall on Wednesday. So, if you want to see the news about how the hurricane's hitting, Wednesday night is when those storms are going to roll in. I've never stayed for a hurricane, but I can imagine it must be pretty both exciting and scary,
I remember you like escaped a hurricane one time, didn't you? Like you drove all the way to Montreal or something, or
Yeah, well, I didn't drive all the way to Montreal. I escaped from this hurricane called Irma. Hurricane Irma. What year was it? I think it was 2017. Yeah, 2017. And that was supposed to be a Category 5. And it was supposed to hit Miami. It was supposed to hit. So you can only imagine Category 5. Wind speeds of 177 miles per hour.
So this hurricane is not a Category 5, it's a Category 4?
It's Category 4 right now, but it's expected to hit Category 3 when it makes landfall.
Yeah. I mean, how can you like defeat hurricanes?
You can't. You just got to wait them out. Yeah, dude. Okay, so Hurricane Irma, the one I escaped from, 177 miles per hour. It's 285 kilometer an hour winds. Imagine. So that one was scary. So that one I left for.
What if when a hurricane just, the whole city just had a bubble like come up and then it was all protected from the hurricane?
Well, it would have to have a roof.
Yeah, you remember The Simpsons? They had like that.
Yeah,
little bubble.
That's what it would have to be. Yeah, I mean, hurricane is just a really big storm, and there's an eye of the storm, and it's pretty scary stuff, and it throws things around, it picks things up, it dumps crazy amounts of water on you.
Or can't you like shoot something into the hurricane, like to destroy the hurricane?
On like a missile or something? I don't know. I don't think
that's
ever
like
been done.
A bunch of like a blow dryer, like just a wind of air. I don't know.
You'd have to get a pretty big blow dryer.
Yeah, like try to don't come here, go to China,
Yeah,
send it off somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. DeSantis, he would send it to New York.
Yeah, exactly. He would send it to Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, to Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, I was gonna move on. I was gonna move on to the.
There's a story here. I want to just plug in really quick.
Yeah, sure.
So Russia grants citizenship to Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden, for those of you who don't know, was a surveillance whistleblower, anti-surveillance whistleblower. He was working for the NSA. A couple years back in 2000, I think 11, it was when he made the huge leak under Obama's administration. Him along with a journalist called Glenn Greenwald. And since when he did it, I mean, The Guardian during that time was actually a good reputable, newspaper / magazine. And they released the story that, you're basically being spied on by the government and, they're kind of going over the limits. And he was seen as treasonous and like a threat to the government, and because he's a whistleblower. So he left to Russia, and now he's just gotten Russian citizenship. So it's pretty crazy to see that, unfold. That's it.
Yeah, I guess he's gonna spend the rest of his life there so that he doesn't get arrested, right?
Yeah, and the journalist who published the article back then, his name is Glenn Greenwald, and he's in Brazil. He's still in Brazil. Yeah, it's crazy, but that's what happens, I guess. So, what was your story? Let's get to your story now.
No, I was just gonna say that the Congressional Budget Office just did an analysis of the Biden student loans forgiveness plan, and they found that the price for it is going to be between $400 and $600 billion. So, but that plan where he said he was going to relieve $10,000 of student loans from people, that's going to cost between $400 and $600 billion to the taxpayer. And I think it's just a good story to talk about, just because, whether you agree with that or not, I think it's good to remind ourselves, we often hear Democrats use the term like canceling student debt. just cancel it. Just cancel it. Can we cancel that debt? And it's like, that's a nice way of saying it, but that's not how it works. That money's been spent and somebody needs to foot the bill for it. And it's going to go on our national debt. It's going to cost $400 to $600 billion. And, we're just going to add it to the bills. So that's pretty much the story. Yeah. I'm looking at these protesters here, these students. It says, President Biden, cancel student debt now. President Biden, cancel student debt, all of it, for everyone. It's like, I wish I could have a conversation with these kids and just be like, hey, man, how do you think that works, the cancellation button? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it's like they think when you go to a restaurant and they put something on the bill that you didn't order and they go back and, we'll just take that off for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
That's not really how it works,
Well, I mean, they knew what they're getting themselves into. If they didn't want to pay all that money, they could have, not gone to college and,
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying it's right how expensive it is in the United States, but then again, there's always a price tag and you could read it before you want to buy all those shoes on Amazon,
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Bill, this is just the last story quickly. Remember Bill O'Reilly? Remember that guy, the old Fox News anchor?
Yeah, what's going on with Bill?
So he writes a lot of books. He's known as not only an anchor, but he's a really good writer, and he wrote books like his whole life. And his latest book is about fame and talking about the price of fame. So his book is called Killing the Legends, The Lethal Danger of Celebrity. So he went on an interview and he said, yeah. So he said, people once hid stuff. Nobody exposed John F. Kennedy's lifestyle or bad boy movie star behavior. Years ago, old-timers were just boozers. It's different now. Safety's gone. From Jesus to today, fame hasn't been so dangerous. Targets are on your back. Kim Kardashian in Paris? There's drugs, alcohol, social media running wild, insane personal stuff on the internet, people making things up, no holding anyone to account. It's plain notoriety. Fame is a crushing weight. It killed Janis Joplin, John Lennon, Jimi Hendrix, Michael Jackson, all of them at a young age, so on and so on. I write about these in my book. Elvis, Marilyn, Muhammad Ali, these were mega, not George Clooney level. These changed American society. This celebrity crushed them. Elvis, who'd been driving a truck, didn't understand. What did he know? Introduced to rock and roll. Not sophisticated, betrayed by people close to him, even though he thought he could trust them. He nearly filed for bankruptcy. His father took money but didn't help him. I do 5 pages on Muhammad Ali, who was unprepared and never the same after his fame. People who forced him to fight for money, people who stole from him. He was broken.
So it seems like he's not just talking about himself. He's talking about a bunch of other people like John Lennon and
no, exactly.
And Muhammad Ali. I thought it was about him. He's like, sure, I grabbed a couple ass. Hey, that's the price of fame, I thought the whole book is gonna be like, hey, I didn't do anything wrong, you shouldn't have a target on your back if you're famous, like something like that.
Right.
But I mean, actually, I'm like, okay, that's pretty good.
Well, he says.
What did he do again?
He was I think he would.
He assaulted someone?
No, I think he would bring these young women working for Fox to dinner, and then he would offer to bring them to his hotel room, and if they said no, he would then try to ruin their career, or maybe not ruin their career, but then he wouldn't help them. And he's a scumbag. Bill O'Reilly is a scumbag. If you've ever seen him,
he looks like an ass.
Yeah, he's an asshole. He's a piece of garbage. He's not a good person. He's selfish. He thinks he's smart. You know what I mean? He's not a good guy.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live. Exactly.
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, that's his latest book. He says here, check out the headlines today. Donald Trump, Joe Biden. The best part of fame is you get the best table in the restaurant. Yes, but the downside is the unkind things that everyone says about you. Everyone tries to hurt you. Like
what? That you've been you're bringing young girls?
Yeah, exactly. Even though that was true. So
yeah.
All right, let's get to the topic of the day.
And now it's time for El Tema del Día, the topic of the day.
Okay,
right.
The topic of the day. Go ahead, Shine.
So I mean, I was just going over Instagram, and I found this cute little thing that's basically it's talking about how people would go up against animals here, and I'm gonna have you read it just so we can have a better understanding. But it basically compares British people and Americans, and if they would, which of the following animals, if any, do you think you could beat in the fight if you were unarmed? And I guess it's a survey of people saying who they could beat. I'm just gonna text it to you right now, and I thought it was cute, you know.
Yeah, because I'm looking at what you sent me, and all I have is this teacher with the big boobs.
No, I'm sending it to you on Messenger, on messages for your iPhone.
Okay. Which animal could you beat in a fight? Which of the following animals, if any, do you think you could beat in a fight if you were unarmed? So this is what Americans said versus what British people said.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically the trend in all of this is that British people or Americans are much more confident in their fighting abilities than British people. So rats, 80% of people said they could beat a rat in a fight. A house cat, pretty much the same. 75% said they could beat it. A goose in a fight, 60% of Americans said they could beat a goose, but only 40% of British people said they could beat a goose.
Yeah.
Just kind of weird. You could just
45.
kick it. Just kick it, right?
I mean, they fly up and they peck your face and shit. I guess, you know.
I could fight a goose. I could fucking kill a goose.
There's a I guess a concept people think that British people, they're not as tough as Americans. They like sit home and play video games all day. While Americans drive around their trucks and have families at the age of 22,
Yeah, I guess so. Medium-sized dog, that's pretty much the same. About 45% think that they could beat a medium-sized dog. An eagle, about 25% of Americans think they could beat an eagle. Less than 20% of British people. Large dog, about 20% think they could beat it. And then it's chimpanzee, king cobra, kangaroo, wolf, crocodile, gorilla, lion, elephant, grizzly bear. So basically, wolf, crocodile, gorilla, lion, elephant, grizzly bear, 0% of British people think they could beat it. But there's like 10% of Americans who think they could beat a wolf, a crocodile, a gorilla, a lion.
Bro, I could fuck up a lion.
Dude, okay, look.
An elephant?
Yeah, I was going to say, a wolf, fine. Maybe you're a tough guy. I'll give it to you. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Crocodile, you're cutting it close, but fine. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Bro, lion, elephant, and grizzly bear. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, no, elephant is the funniest for me,
Yeah, what are you going to do to an elephant? Punch it?
Exactly. Yeah, dude. No, I just climb on top of it and I punch its face.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God. Yeah, grizzly bear is no chance. But even gorilla. Why do they think they could beat a gorilla?
Dude, you have 10% of Americans that think they could beat a gorilla. I mean, give me a break, dude. That thing would punch you once and you'd be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's funny. It goes to show you the cockiness of Americans, I guess.
Yeah. Even a king cobra. You think you could fight a king cobra?
No, because they're venomous. They could kill you.
Bro, it's a big-ass snake.
Chimpanzees, too, man.
Yeah, dude.
Those things will rip your dick off, and they're
It's
way
true.
stronger than humans are.
Yeah.
They're like
and they're so much
ants.
more agile, too. They jump around,
Oh, yeah. I don't know, they could... Yeah, they could... They're like ants almost. They're like way stronger than we are, but they're smaller,
Yeah, the only thing that you would have a fair fight here, I think, is probably the large dog.
Medium-sized dog.
No, they have large dog, too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
That's the only one that would be a fair fight. I don't even know if do you think you'd have a chance with the wolf?
Me? No. I mean, wolf, apparently they stand up almost 7 feet if they're standing on their two legs.
Wolves are huge. They're huge. And they're vicious, bro.
They rip you apart.
Yeah, they bite you and they rip.
Okay, how about this? I'll tell you what I think I could beat, and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
We could both. A rat. We could definitely kill a rat.
Yeah.
Easy. Cat in the bag.
Yeah.
Goose, get the fuck out of here. What are you gonna do? But they look at you with killer eyes. They don't fuck around.
No, they try to do the intimidation game.
Yeah, medium-sized dog, yes, I could beat. Large dog, like a German Shepherd, man, I don't know. I mean,
I think we'd be bloody, but I think we might prevail.
yeah, but you don't. These animals, they go crazy. Just think about like World War II.
Yeah, but dude, think about
They're sending dogs.
how crazy you would go if a dog was attacking you.
I guess I try. Like, what would you try to do? I try to elbow it in the face if it got on me, or try to kick it in the face.
Yeah, dude, or try to poke its eyes out or something, you know?
Poke its eyes out too, maybe.
Yeah, once you get it like on the ground, then you start kicking it, you know, trying to like kill it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Chimpanzee, that is. I don't think I could. Maybe. Like, okay, let's say this: Mike Tyson versus a chimpanzee. Who you got?
I mean, dude, if he lands the first punch and sort of dazes him out,
Yeah.
you know, then he hits him again, bro. Then again, like chimpanzee's out.
Yeah, exactly. How about like
If it gets on his back and starts to fucking pummel his head, then it's like
yeah, man. What about Khabib? Khabib versus a chimpanzee.
I'd probably take Khabib, bro, like as a fucking animal.
Yeah. So like we know some people who could do it, but like I don't know if I could do it, man. It's just wild. I'm thinking about it. Like, imagine they rip your dick off. Like, that's the cost.
That's the thing.
know?
You might win, but dude, you're gonna get out of there with some
Plus,
injuries.
they would like, let's say like you're punching in the face, but it grabs your hand and then it puts your fingers in its mouth and it
Bites
rips it
down.
off.
Yeah, that's what it does, bro.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People don't understand how violent nature is, you know? Like you watch these nature shows, these animals, they rip their intestines out of each other. Like it's so violent.
Oh yeah. I follow some. I don't know why, but I just do on Instagram like these nature pages where it just shows like death by nature, and it's like crazy. Some of the things you see, it's like insane. Like
Yeah,
fucking,
man.
you'll see a cantaloupe get ripped apart by like a bunch of hyenas and shit. Like it's not friendly. Kangaroo. What do you think of a kangaroo?
To be honest, I don't know enough about the kangaroo. I know that they're vicious. I know that they punch, you know. I know that they stand very tall. That's the other dangerous thing, right?
Yeah.
So if this thing is hovering over you at 8 feet and it punches and it kicks, they kick, right? They go back on their hands and then they kick you. Like, bro, one kick and...
Kangaroo, I think maybe you could try to go behind it and give it a rear naked choke and try to choke it out maybe. But it's then again, you said it's tall.
Yeah, dude, they're like 8 feet tall. Maybe a baby, I could do it.
Maybe I'd like try to go in. I don't know.
Go inside
its
the pouch.
Yeah. And then like try to choke it. I don't know. Listen, once we start going to jiu-jitsu a little more often, you know, then maybe if we get this test again, we'll change our answers. But
yeah. All right. Well, until then, thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you on Friday.